A father wrote to me and said, quote, "A few nights ago, while putting the kids to bed, I got impatient and irritated. A few minutes later, I went back to their room and talked to them about it. I said, 'Do you remember that Papa got mad at you while I was putting you to bed?' And they said, 'Yeah.'" Kids remember that forever. So, Dad, brilliant of you to recognize that kids really feel your feelings and they remember them. Parents don't understand how memorable their feelings are to their kids. They just suck them up, the good ones and the bad ones. So Dad said to the kids, "How did it feel when I was angry at you?" And the kids said, interesting word, sad. Dad said, "Well, it was wrong for Papa to get angry. It's not loving or happy making." Nice word. He said, "I made a mistake." The kids nodded their heads and said, "Okay," like nothing had happened. And then Dad said to me, then afterwards, I was listening to the parenting course, and I thought that maybe I should give myself a consequence. I give them to the kids, so why shouldn't I get one? Pretty good question. So the next morning, we had a family meeting, and I said to the kids, "What happens when you whine?" And they said, "We go to the uh-oh place," which means either they go to the car seat or to their room where they sit alone until they figure it out. And Dad said, "What happens when you get angry?" And the kids said, "We get a consequence." Dad said, "That's our family rule. When we get angry or whine or bully, we get a consequence." And he's saying this to the kids. "And I got angry, so Papa will get a consequence. Today, I don't get to eat any dessert." And then Dad asked me what I thought of that. I said, "It's actually pretty clever. Just be aware that if you start this thing of you getting consequences, the kids will never forget. Each time you make a mistake, they're going to start not just suggesting, but demanding that you get a consequence. And then they'll want to participate in choosing your consequence. They're going to be running your life. If you disagree with the consequence they propose, they'll insist on knowing why you get to choose your own. I'm not telling you not to do this. I'm just saying that it's going to get very messy, and it will blur the line between parent and child. You're the parent. They're the children. You're not peers. Dad said to me, after I suggested that I get the consequence, my daughter, Cecile, nodded her head like my idea made perfect sense. Well, of course, she would love that, you getting a consequence. In a later email, Dad wrote and said to me, later that day, we brought home special cakes from a local cafe. While they were eating, I asked, "Do you remember why Papa doesn't get any cake?" And they both instantly said, "Because you got angry." Then Cecile asked, "Why do you get to pick your own consequence?" I have to laugh here because I just talked about that. They're going to start controlling everything you do because it's fun. This challenge on the part of Cecile was predictable. She's clever. If you continue down this road, she'll become even more insistent about you getting consequences. I'm just letting you know that this can easily become a problem. Consequences in a family are administered by parents to children, period. It's not cruel, it's not harsh, it's just how it goes. The parents run the family, the parents listen to the children, but there's not a family discussion about who gets consequences. Parents to children. Anything else just confuses the kids. It confuses them. They begin to believe that a family is run by committee, and that simply is not the case. It's also not wise. I don't go to my surgeon or my airline pilot and insist on decisions being made by committee, especially if they involve me. I don't have the experience to do that, and neither do children. That's all. They just don't have the experience to do it. It's not like they're lesser human beings, which some parents would say if the parents are in charge of consequences. So Dad said to me, How do I explain why I don't get consequences? I know now that Cecile will ask. Yes, she will. You tell her that you do get consequences. You, the father, you do get them, just in a different way. If you don't show up to work each day and on time, for example, you won't get paid. You might even get fired. That's a consequence for you. If you don't put gas in the car stops and the family can't travel. If you drive carelessly, the police pull you over and you get the ticket, not the kids, or possibly you get arrested. So you do get consequences for your behavior, but they are imposed upon you by natural law or by other adults, not by children. Children are pretty dang smart. They want to understand the world around them, and it's our responsibility to help them do that. They're also acutely aware of what is fair, and if they sense any measure of injustice, they will confront us about it. It helps if we can explain to them how some principles can be fair, like consequences, even when they're not identically applied to both adults and children. You can easily explain to Cecile that we all get consequences, but not the same ones, because of our age, experience, responsibilities, and so on. You can do this. I'm Greg Bear, and I've made it easy for you to learn this and much more at realloveparents.com. Be sure to subscribe to this channel for far more practical help.